10 low-tech solutions to high-tech problems. Number 5. Velcro and NASA. The non-attendance of gravity is one of the most evident issues NASA experienced in the beginning of room travel. As we as a whole know, gravity is the explanation everything remains on the ground. In a weightless climate like space, whatever isn't made sure about to the ground or dividers will simply continue gliding around. NASA required an approach to shield apparatuses and gear from skimming around without essentially shooting them to the ground or divider. So it went to Velcro, the creator of snare and circle latches, and both cooperated to consummate a snare and circle clasp that won't just shield stuff from drifting around yet will likewise endure the outrageous climate of space. NASA utilizes heaps of Velcro in its tasks. It even added them to spacesuit caps, so space travelers can scratch their noses while spacewalking. Little miracle, numerous individuals wrongly think NASA created snare and circle clasp. NASA didn't create snare and circle latches, however, as it said about Velcro in 1969. We were unable to fly without it. Number 4. Rats and landmines. Landmines are a huge problem in former war zones, considering they only explode when someone or something steps on them. They can remain active for decades, even long after the war is over. Every year, thousands of people lose their lives after stepping on forgotten landmines. Finding and deactivating these landmines is a very difficult and dangerous job, even with bomb detection equipment. Some organizations replace the bomb detection equipment with bomb detection dogs, but these dogs are often expensive to transport and complicated to use. In 1997, an anti-landmine NGO called Apopo stepped in with a cheaper and better solution: rats. These aren't your regular subway rats, but the African giant pouched rat, which are as large as cats. The rats have terrible eyesight, but excellent sense of smell, which they use to detect the TNT in the landmines. African giant pouched rats are faster and better than humans and dogs. A rat will cover 2,000 square feet in just 20 minutes. A human equipped with bomb detectors will cover the same distance in 4 days. The rats are also light enough to walk over landmines without triggering them. Apopo's rats have detected over 13,200 landmines in several countries so far. Number 3. A $10 domain name and WannaCry. A couple of years back, the world experienced one of the most exceedingly terrible ransomware assaults ever observed. WannaCry, as it was called, tainted more than 300,000 PCS in 150 nations. The infection kept proprietors out of their PCS and taught them to pay many dollars in Bitcoin as ransom. WannaCry kept desolating the world until a man recognized as malware attack purchased a space name. Space names are not costly. They cost around $10 overall. Nonetheless, that straightforward activity was sufficient to deliver WannaCry, accommodating it in a split second, prevented spreading, and eliminated itself from each PC it had contaminated. How did this happen? This happened on the grounds that malware attack misused something very similar that made WannaCry fruitful. Dissimilar to normal infections, ransomwares consistently keep up a correspondence channel that connects the aggressor to the person in question. While this may sound moronic, The assailant varied this channel to send installment data to their casualties, gather recovers and open their PCS after payment. However, this correspondence channel works the two different ways, since law authorization offices could utilize it to follow the aggressors. Aggressors counter this by building off buttons into their infection. This permits them to close down their infections the second they speculate they're being tracked. For WannaCry, that off button was an area name. The assailants modified the infection to check the web for an unregistered area name that spans. The infection would keep spreading if the area stayed unregistered, however will in a flash stop the second it was enlisted. Malware attack found that off button and enrolled the area name, halting the infection. Number 2. Speed tape and airplanes. We as a whole realize planes require customary upkeep, since pilots can't stop on the closest cloud at whatever point they run into issues. Nonetheless, support is a major word here, since it could allude to something as fundamental as holding the plane along with speed tape. Think of speed tape as the channel tape for planes. Like pipe tape, they can fix everything, despite the fact that flight specialists restrict them to holding non-critical pieces of the plane together. They're viewed as an impermanent arrangement, and the flaw will be normally figured out whenever the plane goes into maintenance. Speed tape costs a couple hundreds to thousands of dollars. While that may appear to be costly, it is less expensive when contrasted with the large numbers, or even great many dollars, aircrafts will lose if planes were removed from administration each time they have issues. Number 1. iPhones and the US Army Special Operations Command. The US Army Special Operations Command uses many specialized mobile apps during top military operations. However, instead of developing expensive devices to handle those apps, they turned to a cheaper alternative, iPhones. While we do not know what the majority of these apps do, we know of one that uses the split screen feature of the iPhone. The operator sees a live footage shot from a flying unmanned aerial vehicle on one part of the screen, and a map showing the route taken by the AV on the other. A Business Insider report revealed the Army previously used Android-powered Samsung Galaxy Note smart phones before switching to the iPhone 6 seconds. The switch was necessary because the apps often froze on Samsung, constantly requiring the operators to restart the device. On top of that, the iPhone 6 seconds also had better screen resolution, which made photos and videos sharper. Before this turns into another Samsung iPhone, Android iOS, or Google Apple war, we should add that the Department of Defense pitched the older Samsung phones it was using at the time against the newer iPhone 6 seconds during tests.